Action.
Alright. My name is Halle Burns. I'm a sophomore and I'm in college.
I'm currently studying communications. I wish I knew what that meant, but I don't.
I'm 19 years old. And I'm 5'2". I'm a Leo. I'm a Scorpio rising and a Gemini moon.
My favorite color is probably orange.
Or green. I like long walks on the sidewalk.
And I never poo. Ever.
Oh wait, I need to be like over here.
This is a little bit more about me. Hi everyone.
I've had a TikTok account and a YouTube account for a while, and honestly, I haven't shared that much about myself on the internet, besides the fact that I like to cook and that I go to college. So I feel like this will help us get to know each other a little bit better. I get really nervous when it comes to replying to comments, but I do read them. And this is a really good way for me to hear what you guys have to say. So I haven't had a favorite song in a really long time, actually. It takes a while for a song to become a favorite, and I usually don't know that it's going to be a favorite until I realize that I've listened to it over and over again and am trying to memorize the words. And the song that has taken the favorite place in my heart is Ode to a Conversation Stuck in Your Throat by 𝐦𝐸_𝐸. It's so good. If I could watch you pin me to the bed. Mood Ring Baby by Field Medic, 17 by Youth Lagoon, and Walden Pond by Attaboy are all songs that make me feel like a teen. Like even more of a teen than I already am. Some favorite bands of mine would be Pine Grove, Temples. I really like Adrienne Lenker. I am in love with Howdy, and I also like old stuff too. My dad got me into the Eagles. I really like Daniel Johnson. Fleetwood Mac, it's always a good one. My top 3 comfort shows would definitely be Family Feud. I have a crush on Steve Harvey. I want him to be my dad. Another one would also be Sex and the City. I think if I wanted to live through anyone the most, it would probably be Carrie Bradshaw. And another comfort show of mine is The Great British Baking Show. I can watch it to bed and in all of my free time. As far as just TV shows that I've really liked in the past, for some reason I really like shows that have a lot to do with death. So some of my favorites are The Sinner, I loved The OA, I loved The Handmaid's Tale, and Dexter. Dexter was a show that I fell in love with. And before I was vegan, the intro would always make me want eggs, sunny side up. I have an enormous list of celebrity crushes. If I think about it, every person I meet and like, I kind of have a crush on. Even if it's just little. I don't know, I think there are little bits about personalities that can just make you feel little butterflies inside. So Logan Lerman does that to me. I watched this movie called LOL. If you're into Miley Cyrus, she's the main character in that movie, and I had a crush on Douglas Booth for like a year and a half. Ellie Fanning, Zendaya, Saoirse Ronan. I mean, my favorite food would be a sweet potato, probably. I don't know, I think potatoes are a great food. They're very versatile. Chips, fries in different shapes. You can eat it mashed. You can shred it and make a hash brown. You can make gnocchi, little pasta things. It's just an incredible vegetable. I mean, I think potatoes and peanut butter are a good one. If you've ever had a sweet potato and peanut butter and enjoyed it, we have that in common. But typically, I usually go for dips. I really like apples and dip, or veggies and another kind of dip. My favorite thing to do secretly, or my guilty pleasure, I guess I would word it, probably picking my face. It's a stress reliever. It's not good for you. I don't recommend it, but I also highly recommend it because it's satisfying. Sunsets or sunrises? Definitely sunrises. I think sunsets are beautiful, and honestly, I've probably seen more beautiful sunsets than I have sunrises, but I think the combination of waking up early and the sun coming up, it's like no better feeling to me. I've been in one relationship before. Love languages are a big thing recently. If I'm being honest, I have no idea what my love language is. But yeah, I've been in one, and it was great for the time being. My first kiss was very interesting. I was taken out to the movies, and then we walked to Petco. Don't ask why. I didn't have a car at the time, so my mom had to pick me up after the movie date, and somehow we decided to get some cardio and ended up at Petco. And then he leaned in for a kiss, and at the time I had clear ceramic braces, and if you've had clear ceramic braces, you know that they're huge, and they also get caught on the inner parts of your lips really easily, and I'm pretty sure my braces got stuck to his upper lip. He was also a snapper on the high school football team, and I was probably closer to 5'1" at the time. And I know there's something good about diversity as far as height goes in relationships, but there was something about having to strain my neck really high up, and then the whole braces to lip thing, it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. I think I cried afterwards. Anyway, the best book I've ever read is called The Cheerleader. It's pretty old. It's from the 1980s, I think. It's by this author named Ruth Doane McDougall. And my freshman year lit teacher gave it to me. We were really, really close all throughout high school. And I think if you're struggling to find yourself in high school or in college, or just want a good book to read, definitely read that one, because I don't know, there was something about it that made me wish it was a movie, so I could see if what I was envisioning in my head was also what somebody else was envisioning. I think staying motivated in college is really tough. It's also entirely dependent on what you're studying and how many classes you're taking and what you're doing to balance social life and academics and personal life. It's crazy, and I would say to stay motivated, you have to figure out how to manage your time well. And I'm not saying that you have to do a little bit each day, because I think that's a classic solution to time management, and it doesn't work for me. I actually work really well under pressure, meaning that when I sit down, I like to crack out a ton of work in a very long period of time and then not have any, so I can spend the rest of my time doing other things. Whereas I think some people like to do a little bit each day. That way it doesn't feel like such a stressor when you realize that all these due dates are coming up. So it just depends on how you like to work. And then I always think of my grandpa. And this man was a neurosurgeon, and he was one of the first, and he was fantastic. And whenever I see him, he has stories to tell, tons of them. And his career is very specialized. Neurosurgery is a very specific field of science, but he has this wealth of knowledge and these experiences from so many different places in the world. And I think it's because while he did choose to crack down on a specialized field, he really took advantage of knowledge in general and just the benefits of knowing as much as possible. I know that I'm probably never going to need to know about the stars, but I think because I took astronomy, I think about the world a little bit differently. And I think That's what keeps me motivated in classes that I hate. I always try to take little bits from it. A lot of the little bits are from the teachers and how they make me look at life differently, whether that's good or bad. The students, or just the dedication it takes to force myself to actually finish out the course material. If I get in a slump, I always prioritize self-care, which is very, but it's true. I think just one day of doing your own thing, all the things that make you happy, whether that be spending time with a bunch of people. I really like face masks. I always do my nails when I'm stressed. I like to cook. I listen to music. Sometimes music that makes me more depressed on purpose. Oh, and I took the 16 personality types test because I got a few questions about that. And these are my results. I'm an ENFP. So I'm 9% extroverted, 25% intuitive, 41% feeling, and 28% perceiving. My favorite YouTubers to watch, I really like First We Feast. I love watching famous people eating spicy food and talking about themselves. It's addicting. Oh, it's my drug, I think. I really like the minimalist guy. His name's Matt Diavella, I think. I also really like watching Gourmet Makes. I love Claire. Bon Appetit, or the Gourmet Makes test kitchen, is probably one of the main reasons why I started making snacks in quarantine, now that I think about it.
I'm gonna show you a good way to eat a cracker.
The coolest place I've ever been to is Jamaica. I went on a trip alone with my mom once, and we got to sit on this raft made out of bamboo and float down a river. And we put mud on our legs to soothe ourselves. We also drank out of a coconut. It was incredible. If finances weren't an issue, I think I would buy a little place like this somewhere, or like a bungalow somewhere, maybe Thailand. If I'm thinking apartments, I feel like I'd go to France or somewhere in Europe and just decorate it and leave all my stuff behind here and roam the streets. Do you brush your teeth clockwise or counterclockwise? I brush my teeth counterclockwise. Clockwise to you, counterclockwise to me. It's a good question. If a sound were to be played every time I entered the room, I feel like I'd... Maybe that one? Hi, Christina. I think I'd definitely get a tattoo, but I'm also super indecisive, and things that I really like, I end up not liking in a week. So I don't think I'd ever be able to make the firm decision of a design, but if maybe one day I came up with an idea, or once I'm 21, I get really just, out of my element, I'd take advantage of this little mole that I have on my side here, and I'd draw a design around it. One time I thought about making it into a smiley face, and the mole would be a pupil, or I could make it the center of a flower. If I could go anywhere in a storybook or a movie, it would probably be some type of claymation. I'd want it to be otherworldly. Definitely not in this universe. Or maybe in this universe, but hundreds of years earlier. Like, I saw Little Women. I wanted to live in the 19th century so badly for a good week and a half. I think I have to say German, just because I took it for 3 years and it went nowhere. I know how to count to 10 and say, can I go to the bathroom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think dealing with negative energy can be really tough. I think if you are too forgiving, you put yourselves in situations that can be really toxic. And a lot of times you accept things and deal with things that you shouldn't have to. I found that rather than disliking someone right off the bat or just completely distance myself from a situation because I don't like what's being said, if you just kind of force yourself to be in someone's shoes, even if you don't really like that person, it makes you understand where they're coming from, like why someone might think a certain way, even if it's completely wrong. It's made me understand people, I think, a little bit differently. That's how I deal with a lot of shitty comments that I get. Sometimes I try to understand like why someone would say that about me when they don't know anything about me. And that helps when I look at it a little differently. My birth date, social security number, and mother's maiden name is 11. Hi everyone. Thanks for all your questions, and I'm sorry if I missed any of them, but I love you, and I'll see you next time.